Hope everybody is doing well. The Padres today, they announced their 2025 coaching staff. It's been light on news here in Padres world, unless we want to count, Roki Sasaki nothing reports as news. People saying that, oh, industry sources believe the Padres are in strong position to land him. Like, I don't really care about what industry sources think on December 6th when he's not getting posted until sometime probably in January, you know? Jeff Passan, like, I love him for breaking news. He says the industry should not forget about the Padres and some other teams. Okay. The industry, again, the industry. I don't really care about that on December 6th. So, yeah, let's move on to the actual news here, the coaching staff. Some of it is news, some of it is not. The stuff that's not news is Ruben Niebla being back as the pitching coach, Victor Rodriguez being back as the hitting coach. That already was reported, I think, weeks ago, right? So it's good that it's official now, but we pretty much already knew that. I assume that the coaching staff was probably going to remain the same. Hearing Mike Schilt talk about how before he got his extension done, he wanted to make sure that his other coaches got things done, and let's have the Padres worry about that first. So, Mike Schilt, not a surprise that this is what happened, and it's not a surprise that Schilt goes about his business that way in a team first mindset, not a me first mindset. Love that about him. Some of the interesting names here are more at the bottom of the list that I did want to at least hit on because some of these names maybe aren't going to be familiar to most Padres fans. But here's the full list. So Brian Esposito, he is labeled as the bench coach. I'm reading on MLB.com. But I think he and Peter Somerville will both sort of be bench coaches for Mike Schilt. Sure, Esposito has the title, but when I look at the other titles here, and I look at Peter Somerville, game planning and coaching assistant, well, a big thing for the bench coach, I assume, is to be, I know the bench coach is obviously in game right there, but Somerville's not going to be there. He's not going to be an assistant at all there. I think Esposito and Somerville are going to have big roles in helping Mike Schilt prepare for certain situations. One may be more pregame with the game planning, and then Esposito maybe could be, and I'm just, totally just throwing out thoughts here. He could be more like last year, in-game right by Mike Schilt. But I think both of those guys are going to sort of share those sorts of responsibilities there. That's what I see when I look at some of the titles here on these names. Victor Rodriguez, obviously hitting coach, Niebla pitching coach, Ben Fritz, good to see him back as well. Because I don't want to make it all about Ruben Niebla. I know that he's going to get a lot of the love and pretty much all the love because he's the pitching coach, and he definitely deserves it, no doubt. But I'm pretty sure that Ben Fritz, plays a key role in the Padres' success on the pitching side as well. So I do want to give him some props there, and he's been with the Padres for years. Tim Leeper, some social media Padres fans, and I say that not like in a bad way, but just like those on social media, when they talk about Tim Leeper, you don't see people on social media saying, oh, that's the best third base coach ever. He always makes the best sense. Usually when people are talking about the third base coach, it's kind of like an umpire. You don't want to be talked about. So there's some fans on social media that are like, oh, we got to deal with a whole nother year of Tim Leeper. Personally, with third base coaches, I want to see energy from them, and that's what Tim Leeper provides. I know he is doing work with base running and infield as well. Did he make some not great sends last year? Yeah. But it's like a manager. You're not going to make a great send. You're not going to make a great decision in the manager's seat as well. It's based on what happens. And the thought process could be great. Whatever going into it could be great. And then it ends up being a great throw by the guy and he gets thrown out. Things can happen. So with Tim Leeper, I can't sit here and be like, well, here's other better third base coaches in baseball that he should that should be here over Tim Leeper. So I'm personally fine with it. David Macias seems like Luis Ariz loves pounding his chest after singles, so that's great. He's back, and he does. It seems like he's done some good work with Jackson Merrill in the outfield. I think I could be wrong on this, but I think Macias and Merrill were working together before spring training, before Merrill got to spring training last year, to try to get some more comfortability, Merrill to be more comfortable out there. Let's see. Mike McCoy, no, not the Charger head coach, but the other Mike McCoy. He is remaining. Pat O'Sullivan is returning assistant hitting coach. All of these guys, by the way, Somerville included, Andrade, Burkhart, they've been on the staff. Alan Craig, AJ Ellis, Craig Stammen, I'll get to them in a minute. They were already in the Padres front office. But Peter Somerville, already kind of touched on him there with Espo. Andrade, bullpen catcher, coaching assistant. I don't have a ton to elaborate on with some of these guys because we just don't hear anything from them or much about them. I'm only really commenting on guys that I've read about and I've actually not heard, but I think there's just more to talk about in those roles because those are bigger roles in terms of like who gets attention on the coaching staff, if that makes sense. But Morgan Burkhart, I think Padres fans do remember him, that yes, he has been there for years. And then getting to Craig, Ellis, and Stammen. So obviously, former Padres, Alan Craig, AJ, Craig, they were in the front office already, and it seems like they will still help out the front office because it is special assistant baseball operations, but it's also major league staff. If you look at the coaching staff for last season, they were not on that list of the 2024 coaching staff. So guys that aren't returning, it seems like Ryan Barba's not returning. I don't see his name. He was major league field coordinator, but everybody else is returning. Niebla, Fritz, Leeper, Macias, Rodriguez, McCoy, O'Sullivan, Espo, Somerville, Andrade, and Burkhart. And that's the 2024 staff. All those returning except, it seems like, Ryan Barba. But I'm not sure a ton of Padres fans really know who he is, so I'm not going to add too much onto that. I wonder if we're going to get interviews in spring training or something with Alan Craig, with AJ Ellis, with Craig Stammen, because I mean, I'd be curious, maybe not all fans, but I think some fans would be curious to do they totally know what their role is going to be, or this is just the title and they're going to be jumping around to different things. But I think having those guys, Alan Craig, obviously a lot of postseason experience, AJ Ellis, obviously, same, Craig Stammen was loved in that Padres clubhouse. So, and he's obviously a veteran reliever, a lot of experience there. So, yeah, I'm not going to have any negative things to say about adding. It seems like expanding those guys, not adding because they've already been here, but expanding those roles. Now, Scott Stroud and Chris Apicaccia, I totally botched that name. Sorry to his family, but they are listed on this coaching staff. And in the Padres article or press release, whatever you want to call it, that they put out here earlier today, they said that Stroud and I already forgot his name. Let's just call him CA, okay? Apicaccia, whatever. A Ketchup. They were already here, is what it seems like. But I've never heard of these guys. Unless I'm just totally forgetting. But it says Stroud, he's 37. Ketchup, that's not his name, but I'm just saying that because that's just what comes to my mind when I'm trying to say his name. He's 26. So Stroud returns for his third season on the major league coaching staff as coaching assistant. He was not listed last year, so maybe he was on the staff. I have no idea what this guy looks like. Same thing with Ketchup. No idea. But I guess Stroud was already on the coaching staff for 2 years. Played 2 years collegiately at East Los Angeles College, coached in high school for a lot of years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years coaching in high school. Okay. And then Ketchup, Apek Ketchia. If he's listening or his family's listening, I apologize. I just don't know how to pronounce his name. He returns for his 4th season with the Padres organization, his 2nd on the major league staff as a pitching coaching assistant. So he was here last year, but I don't remember him being listed on the coaching staff. He joined the Padres minor league system as a pitching performance analyst in 2022, pitched 4 seasons at Hawaii and High Point University. He used to work as a contributor and coach at Tread Athletics pitching facility in North Carolina. Now, I thought I remember Mike Schilt being involved with the facility in North Carolina, so maybe it's that facility. I could totally be wrong on that, but I'm just trying to make those connections there. But I guess those guys, so everyone here on this coaching staff, there's nobody actually new to the organization, to my knowledge. It seems like everyone has been in the organization. We just may not have known about every single one of these guys. But overall, I mean, yes, the scoreless innings, that sucks. They didn't win the World Series, but keeping the coaching staff intact, I think that's the right decision. I didn't hear any issues between AJ Preller and the coaching staff, so that was refreshing this past year. But we didn't hear it with Bob Melvin, right, in 2022. It only came out in 2023 when things weren't going well. So hopefully it's not just an even year thing, and the odd year, 2025, next season can continue to be great. Coaching staff, AJ Preller, front office, that relationship there. But yeah, just we know the impact. Well, kind of know. I can't say we fully know because we don't, but we sort of know the impact Ruben Niebla, Ben Fritz, pitching staff there has had on a lot of the pitchers. I mean, there's been, I could go down a list. Since Ruben has come here, the positive effect. Some guys were already here, but some guys when Ruben came have improved. And then there's guys that come to the Padres and have either career years or they have like bounce back seasons where, oh, we saw that years ago, but now he has it again. And then they go get bigger contracts. Unfortunately, sometimes it's with another team, but that's what you sign up for when you sign these guys to 1-year deals or multi-year deals, but maybe opt-outs after that first year. And they have a good year under Ruben and they go somewhere else. Someone like Seth Lugo or Michael Wacha, Nick Martinez, obviously. He goes to the Reds a couple years back. And some of the guys that have come that were not really known, Jeremiah Estrada, right? And they end up being big. And Jeremiah Estrada is going to be a high leverage reliever going into spring training for this Padres team. So, yeah, sign me up for this coaching staff again. Love it. I'm glad that it was officially announced. Can get that out of the way. And now we got the winter meetings coming up next week. I haven't been doing a ton of Padres videos because there hasn't been anything to react to. I'll probably do some like trade targets, free agent targets, maybe a couple of shows there, but probably more after the winter meetings. Maybe when a lot more moves have been made, and then we might have a better sense of who more realistic guys are. I can say, so Higgy goes to the Rangers. I gave my thoughts on that already. Danny Jansen signed with the Rays, which he got more. It was 1 year, but he got more per year than Higgy did. So still, it's a question on what the Padres are going to do with the catching situation. Obviously, starting pitching. Obviously, Roki Sasaki. People are going to keep talking about that, but he hasn't been posted yet, and he's not going to be posted until probably January. If I was his team in Japan, I wouldn't post him until January 15th to ensure that he does not sign before that date, because if he signs before that date, they won't get as much money back from the team that he signs with. But if he signs after, everyone's international bonus pool money resets. He can get the most money if that's what he wants, or he can get more money from teams that he would be interested in going to, that partnership could happen there. And then that team in Japan could get more, obviously, for Roki. So you keep hearing, if you're going to keep hearing talk about Roki, you can, get your hopes up, or maybe not even get your hopes up, but you can pay attention to that a lot and read all about it. But for me personally, I'm just waiting till he's posted, because right now it's people just throwing out guesses. How do they, or they're just going to say industry sources because they talk to people. Maybe they talk to front office people, agents, whatever. That's great. But they don't know what Roki is thinking. So I don't care if it's the Dodgers that keep getting mentioned. I don't care if it's us. Those people probably don't know what Roki actually wants, what he is thinking about, because they're not inside his brain. They're not talking to him. So just take those reports or anything there with a grain of salt. But there we go. Padres announced their 2025 coaching staff. If you have any thoughts, feel free, put them in the comments, obviously. And thanks so much for watching.